Hello, how you doing? So I'm very busy working on Project 4. There'll be a trailer up this week. There'll be videos up next week. There'll be videos up all of March. It's our busiest month by a mile. So I'm editing multiple documentaries at the moment. So I don't have time to do like a fully fledged, fully edited, fully featured impressions sort of video on Horizon Zero Dawn, which I got. It was supplied to me by Sony, and I've been playing it for the past on and off. I think for like 2 weeks now at this stage. I've been playing it. A week and a half maybe. I'm probably about like 20 hours, 30 hours into this thing, and I'm not going to spoil anything. In fact, I know everyone is probably going to be putting up previews about this game because it's the first big game of the year, and I'm very intentionally going to be very vague about what I think about this game, because quite frankly, I would not be doing this video if I wasn't so wonderfully surprised with Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that frequently had me thinking, wait, this is from the Killzone people? And I like Killzone, but Killzone is a very like one-note sort of experience. The stories in those games I didn't think were very good. I thought graphically they were very beautiful, and I thought mechanically they got shooting down pretty well. Like the shooting, I liked the weightiness in Killzone 3. I know that was like a big sort of thing people weren't sure about. I think Shadowfall was probably the best in terms of like the feel of the shooting and all that sort of stuff. But I think they designed good like first person combat, and I think their games look great. I think their stories are shit, and I thought the world building in some of those games was kind of interesting, but was, you know, first person shoot games are always really linear, so you never get, you know, it's easy to imagine that a place isn't a real place. Horizon Zero Dawn is like by far the best game Guerrilla have ever made, by a mile. And I like some of those kills. I like 3 and I like Shadowfall quite a lot. And it's good in ways that are very surprising to me. First of all, its story is really good. The opening like couple of hours of the game, again, I'm not going to get into specifics, but the way they set up your relationship with the character and the protagonist and the protagonist's relationships within that world is like very, very well done. I don't know if because my expectations were going in low and because of the world we live in with open world sandbox games where you've got quest lines, you know, the bar set pretty low for that sort of stuff. Like we generally don't care. Like Watch Dogs 2 was like, yeah, sure, you've just hacker buddies in fucking the Bay Area, go. And then like Assassin's Creed, they have to reintroduce a new protagonist every time, and it's like, yeah, we get it, they're an assassin because they're fucking orphan or some shit happens to them in London and whatever. So I wasn't expecting to enjoy that sort of part of it, but it's exceptionally well done, and it introduces the varying mechanics, the combat especially, which I'll get into in a little second, and also the world. It introduces the world. It introduces sort of like, it really sets up your place within the world, this sort of future version of Earth where there are mechanical, you know, dinosaur type robots, and as well as normal like biological animals, and then different packs of humans in this sort of like post-apocalyptic world. And that world is great. Like the tribes and their relationships and their customs and the societies, it's all like fleshed out in a super like believable way. Like in the way that they're like talking about things like the Karja tribe, which is weird because that means friend in Irish, so it keeps tripping me up. And like their custom that they do for you to like gain entry into the tribe and all this sort of stuff. Like in most games I'd be like, yeah, I don't care. Like, but for whatever reason, the way they write it, and I think your relationship with your protagonist as well, and how much you're pulling for her, is that I found all of that completely engrossing. I've actually really loved it, and I've continued to love it as I've sort of left that area and gone out into the wider world. The world is gorgeous. The game looks amazing. I'm playing on a regular PlayStation. I don't have PS Pro, so it's in 1080, which looks amazing. Like the day-night cycle is gorgeous. The moon is suspiciously bright. The sun rays in the morning is amazing. And then, like, outside of that, like, just animations, like, the facial animation stuff is really good. I remember there's a video that went up a couple of weeks ago that was all messed up. I've seen that video, I've seen that interaction in the game, and it didn't look weird at all, so I don't know what the deal was there with that old piece of footage, or that piece of footage that got leaked out. But the world is gorgeous. The animation of the dinosaurs, even where the camera sits, considering it's like, it's a super, like, it's a game where long distance and close quarter combat happens all the time, where you're like as much doing long, you know, arrow shots from like 50 feet as you are like Dark Souls rolling out of the way of somebody and trying to like hit them on the other end, and like managing your inventory and stuff. And like even stuff like that, just the way the camera's set up and everything is just like expertly done. The combat in this game is fucking great though. The combat is the special sauce of Horizon Zero Dawn, and I absolutely love it. You've got like spears for like close combat stuff. You can like R1 L2, like sort of heavy parry, you know, strong parry kind of hit on people. You can use your, you know, ranged weaponry. Then you've got these hooks that you can use to like, you know, get the dinosaur fucking things to like get stuck in the ground, or like set up tripwires so they get electrocuted. They've all got elemental, you know, some of them hate fire, some of them hate strength, some of them hate whatever, and you've got different fire arrows and all that sort of stuff as well to sort of to play into that. And sometimes you just get into these fights like accidentally, because you're generally a lot of the time you're quite stealthy, like you're running in between reeds and trying to like, you know, whistle at them and then stab them when they come up and take out like packs in a sort of almost like an old like base invasion kind of Project IGI type way, or I guess like Far Cry basically. In fact, this game is like Far Cry 3 and 4 in so many ways, like trying to clear out those bases. There's a lot of hunting as well and crafting to make the different stuff. And it's just loads of fun. They even do the Ubisoft like tower thing in like the coolest way ever. It's just this like, I don't even want to say actually. It's like even that, the way they do that is really fun. I like it a lot. I've continually gone back to it. I've enjoyed the story. I going into I literally don't want to say anything because of spoilers, but just every couple of hours something new and cool happens, and you know, it's not very in the way that Far Cry 3 and 4 I think were quite one note in terms of the environments you explore. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a lot more interesting and flavorful in that respect. And it has this kind of like, it has this, I don't know how it does it, because the world map is probably, like, it's big when you look at it, but it doesn't see, it's probably not that much bigger than a lot of other games, but it really has this sort of frontiersman, you know, Oregon Trail kind of leaving the world and going out into the wider world and like going on a road trip almost kind of feel to it, which I think tickles, you know, my interest probably maybe more than the average person, but that to me has been amazing. Just like getting out into the world and like seeing what's going on and being a sort of fish out of water. And that's kind of all I have to say about Horizon Zero Dawn. Super combat, it looks gorgeous. The side quests and the story stuff is way more compelling than I was expecting it to be. It kind of fills. It's like if you. I hate doing these types of comparisons, but the way I'm playing it and enjoying it is that it feels like when I was playing The Witcher 3, where I was like going into this looking forward to the next sort of area and quest and exploring and upgrading and doing all the bits. Except the story elements in The Witcher 3 I think are like much, much better, and I think like the writing and the side quests and stuff is a lot more deep and all that sort of stuff. I think it's best in class for that. But I do think the combat in The Witcher 3 is probably a little more two-dimensional. Whereas in this, imagine the story stuff isn't quite as good as The Witcher 3. It's like it's better than I was expecting, but it's certainly not at that level. But the combat stuff is far more interesting. I'm playing on a hard mode as well, and I love it because it's so difficult. Because when you're fighting these huge mechanical beasts, which take like 10 minutes to kill some of them, it's just like you won't die. Like crafting arrows, fucking die, and like knocking 3 arrows together on fire and hitting them, and you're like using your scanner thing to like see its like weak points and try and shoot them, and it's good. Horizon Zero Dawn is a good game. If you're on a PlayStation 4, you literally need to be playing this game. I can't think of. I had a buddy over who's a PC player, and I was like, it's this year's Uncharted. It's the reason you need to own a PS4. So I think PlayStation fans will be super, super happy. And if you own a PC and you don't have PlayStation 4, you shouldn't have watched this video, because this game's pretty okay. I'm looking forward to seeing what the reviews are like. I haven't completed it. Like I said, I'm still like enjoying it at my own pace, and I haven't really gotten bored yet. I was waiting for the stage where it starts to get repetitive, and that hasn't happened to me yet. Maybe it does happen later on, but I mean, 20 plus 30 hours of entertainment for me already has been pretty great. So even if it does sort of slide off the cliff, I'll forgive it. And that's it. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Enjoy other previews. I'm sure there'll be loads out there for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I'm sure I'll do a stream at some stage in the future as well. All right. Adios.